A company requires a Part X at the rate of 300 units per week. Part X is purchased from an external supplier who charges the company $10 for delivery of an order and $2.50 for each part purchased. And the company estimates that its internal costs associated with making an order are $12.50. Assume interest rates are 5% per year and the warehousing costs associated with the storage and maintenance are 40 cents per unit per year. In this video, I'm going to calculate the economic order quantity and the total cost per year. For me to calculate the economic order quantity, I use the formula Q star is equals to the square root of 2DC naught over H. So we need to find our values of the D, the C naught, and the H from the information that we are given there. So we start by looking at the demand there. We are given 300 units per week. So we have our D is equals to 300. But all the other costs there, they are given as per year. So to make the cost to have the same unit of per year, I transform this D to per year. A year is 52 weeks, so I multiply this 300 by 52. So therefore our D is equals to 300 times 52, which gives us 15,600. So that's our demand there per year. I now move on at looking at the ordering costs. We are having a $10 for delivery of an order. So I write my C note there is equals to 10. But that's not the only cost associated with ordering. We also have costs associated with making an order. The internal ones are here, the $12.50. So it will add to this $10 that we have just written here. So our ordering cost will be 10 plus $12.50, which gives us $22.50. So we have our ordering cost there, $22.50. Then we go on and look at the purchasing cost. The purchasing cost is $2.50 because it's $2.50 for each part purchased. So we have our C1 is equals to $2.50. I now go on to look at the next information that we are given. We are given the interest rates are 5% per year. So I write down my interest is 5%. And then go on and look at the storage and maintenance cost. We are given that they are 40 cents per unit per year. So I can write my H is equals to 0.4. But this interest rate, it will add to the holding costs. And the holding costs will be multiplying the interest rate by the purchasing cost, the 250. So what we'll do is we'll add plus 250 multiplied by the 5%. And our holding cost will be 0.525. So we now have those values there. I can now go on and evaluate my economic order quantity, substitute the value of the D, the C naught, and the H, and we have our Q star is equals to 2 times 15,600 times 22.5 divided by 0.525. And that square root there, when we round to an integer, it gives us 1,156. For the total cost, we use the formula DC1 plus DC naught divided by Q star plus Q star multiplied by H divided by 2. And the Q star is the one that we have just evaluated here. So substituting the values that we have here, our solution will be 39,607.08. So we are having our total cost is 39,607.08 and our economic order quantity is 1,156. So I'll just put it there. Now suppose that you can have a 20% reduction in the unit price provided that you order exactly 3,000 units per order. So this 20% reduction will affect the value of the purchasing cost, the C1, which is $2.50. So if we have a 20% reduction, our new C1 will be equals to $2.50 minus $2.50 times 20 over 100. And it will give us a $2. And here, the Q that we are supposed to use, we are supposed to use this 3,000 because we are saying you should order exactly 3,000 units to get that 20% reduction. So we have our Q is equals to 3,000. And then if we look at how we calculated our H, we added the 5% interest there. but the 5% was calculated on the purchasing cost, which was at $2.50. So our holding cost will change just because our purchasing cost has now changed to $2. So our new holding cost will be equals to the 0.4 plus 2 times 5 over 100, which gives us a 0.5. So that's our holding cost there, of which in this case we are having our demand is 15,600 and we are ordering 3,000 units per each order. So we can calculate the number of orders that we make per year. So the number of orders there will be equals to the 15,600 divided by 3,000. 15,600 divided by 3,000 gives us a 5.2. But here we are looking at number of orders. That number should be an integer. So the number of orders that we should have there, we should take the ceiling value. Just because if we take the floor value, we would have 5 orders. 5 orders by the 3,000 units, it will give us 15,000, of which the 15,000 now is less than this demand of 15,600. So it's not acceptable. So we have to take the ceiling, which is a 6, of which when you make 6 orders, that means we would have a total of 18,000 units, and then we would have a surplus of 2,400. Our ordering cost there, they are $22.50 per each order. But we are saying that we are making 6 orders. So if we are making 6 orders and each order costs $22.50, the total ordering cost for the year will be $22.50 multiplied by 6, which gives us 135. Our purchasing cost, we said, is $2 here. But this is the purchasing cost per unit. So the total purchasing cost per year will be the orders that you are having, 6 multiplied by the quantity that we are ordering per each order, 3,000 multiplied by the purchasing cost, 2. So it will give us 36,000. So that's our purchasing cost there. Our holding cost is given by Q multiplied by H over 2. That's the holding cost there. Our Q is a 3,000. Our H, we are saying, is a 0.5. So we would have that our holding cost is 750. So we now have all these costs. To get our total cost, we add all these costs that I have highlighted, and that sum of the costs is 36,885. And we are saying this total cost is when we are ordering 3,000 units for each order. So I'll just write that total cost on top there. Now suppose that you can have a 25% reduction in the unit price and incur no delivery charge, provided that you order at least 4,000 units in each order. So when you have a 25% reduction, it will affect our purchasing cost, the C1. And we are only having this reduction if we purchase 4,000 units. So we'll be having that our Q is equals to 4,000. And in terms of our purchasing cost, initially it was at $2.50, and we are saying we are having a 25% reduction. So we would have that our purchasing cost will be $2.50 minus $2.50 times 25 over 100, the 25% reduction, and it will give us 1.875. And this new purchasing cost affects our holding cost. Because if you check here, when we calculated our holding cost, we were using a value of $2, but it has now changed to 1.875. So using the new purchasing cost, our holding cost will be 0.4 plus 1.875 multiplied by 5 over 100, the 5% interest, and it will give us 0.49375. And in terms of our ordering cost, initially we were having $22.50, that just because we had a $10 delivery charge. But in this case, there is no delivery charge. So our ordering cost will just be the $12.50, which comes from the internal ordering costs. So we have our C naught is equal to $12.50. So those are the values that we are having there. We now need to calculate the number of orders that we make per year. Our demand is 15,600. And in this case, we are being asked to order 4,000 units. So the number of orders that we make per year is 15,600 divided by 4,000. And here, the 15,600 divided by 4,000, it gives us 3.9. But we need an integer value because this is number of orders per year. So to see which value we can take, if we take the ceiling value of 3.9, it gives us a 4. So if we say 4 multiplied by the ordering quantity, and the 4,000, it gives us a 16,000. If we take the floor value, our orders will be 3, and 3 by 4,000, it gives us 12,000. 12,000, which is far less than the demand. So the 12,000 won't meet our required demand. So in this case, we cannot take a floor value, we take the ceiling value. So we have that our orders there are 4. And we are saying we are making 4 orders, but each order is costing $12.50. So the ordering cost per year will be the $12.50 multiplied by 4, which gives us a 50. And our purchasing cost, we say that is 1.875. So we can use this purchasing cost to find our purchasing cost per year. So our purchasing cost will be the number of orders 4 multiplied by the ordering quantity, the 4,000, multiplied by the purchasing cost per unit, the 1.875. And that will give us 30,000. So that's the purchasing cost per year there. And our holding cost, we are saying that it's 0.49375 per unit. So to get our holding cost per year, the formula that we use is QH over 2, and substitute the value of the Q and the H, and we have 987.50. I now go on and add all these values that I've just obtained here, and it will give us a total cost of 31,037.50. And this is when we are ordering 4,000 units. So those are the total costs that we are having there. So if you have an option to choose to say which option should we choose, you can choose the one with the lowest cost, of which the one with the lowest cost is this one here, the one with 31,037.50. So you can only get this when you order 4,000 units. And you can only choose this option if you have the capacity of storing these 4,000 units in your warehouse. But if not, then you'd have to consider the other options.